everybody, welcome. I'm Daniel G. Garza, and this is another episode of Putting Together Conversations. Welcome to the show. I want to say hi to all our friends watching us out there on Facebook, whichever page you're watching on. Make sure that you like the video, and please, will you share it on your page and make sure that your friends and family can watch it along with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, will you do me a favor? Scroll down, smash that subscribe button, and like the video. That always helps us out a little bit. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, you can also share this on your page, and those folks on Twitter can retweet this and make comments. Remember, if you're on any of these sites, you are welcome to join the conversation. You can be part of this conversation with us, and just type in, make sure you go into the part that has the conversation in the video, add your question, your comment for my guest today. My guest today, I am pretty excited. He stepped up. One of my guests couldn't make it today, so he was kind enough to step in and be my guest. He was on my podcast. So if you guys were fans of the podcast, he was on that show at once. If you ever got to see our lunch with the guys video that's on YouTube, you can still go check that out. I'll post it after we're done. He actually helped produce and was part of the panel on that. So let me give you a quick intro to his bio. So Austin Armstrong, CEO of Socialty Pro. Austin Armstrong is a consultant, lifelong digital marketer, public speaker, and a former co-host. Austin has been doing search engine optimization and social media marketing for over 15 years. Austin is the CEO and co-founder of Socialty Pro, a full-service digital marketing agency in Durham, North Carolina. Austin has extensive experience and knowledge working in many different industries and specializes in marketing for substance abuse treatment centers. Austin loves helping individuals and companies grow their online presence in order to generate brand awareness, customers, and product sales by getting creative and thinking outside the box. I consider him one of my good friends. We worked on several projects while he was here, and I was even guest on some of his shows, so let me bring him on. Hello, Mr. Armstrong.
Hello, Daniel. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's first of all, thank you for jumping in at the last minute and being a guest on the show.
Absolutely. By the way, I love the new intro. Awesome.
Thank you. You know, actually, the music that plays in the intro is from Ryan Kalama, who is Kai Kalama's brother. You know Kai Kalama?
Oh, yes. I remember the last name. Yeah. Throwback to Lunch with the Guys. What a fun project that was.
So for those of you wondering what that is, I did a pilot for a talk show with all my guy friends, and it's called Lunch with the Guys. If you're a producer and you're watching, we're still looking for somebody to produce that show. So jump on in. But welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Thank you. Everything's going great. Couldn't be better, honestly. Happy to be here.
I am still. I'm gonna say this as long as we're in public. I am still upset that you moved. I cannot believe when you moved. But
I'm sorry. California. I miss California.
I'm not going to like officially cry on the show, but I there might be a little tear at some point. But how's North Carolina? How's it treating you?
It's going great. We've been out. So we moved. I moved with my fiance, now wife, as of 2 weeks ago, for her to do her MBA program out here. She's almost done, and we're moving to the DC, Virginia area in about two or 3 months now. So It's been fantastic. Love North Carolina, but on to the next adventure.
It is a pretty cool place for all my friends in North Carolina, and I have several friends out there. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Well, congratulations to you on your nuptials. There was supposed to be, I guess now that you brought up there was supposed to be a bigger wedding extravaganza, which 2020 did not allow that to happen, but we were there in spirit. We love you, and congratulations on that, and congratulations to her. You're gonna love the Northeast. It's so beautiful up there. I go up there for conferences and stuff. So congratulations. And how we met, because usually I like to share how I meet my guests. We first met through.
I think you had reached out to me through LinkedIn. Actually, is how we first connected, but we had that mutual backing. Whether you realized it or not at the time, I'm not exactly sure. Through Shanti.
Yes. So I didn't know. Right. I didn't know at the time that the therapist that you were working with had a show before, and I had been one of the guests on his show to talk about HIV and addiction,
Mm-hmm.
and then somewhere you and I got connected, and all the pieces come down. Like I think I went to the office, or I was like, I know where this is. Like I've been out here this before. So yeah, so we had a history without knowing we had a history. We
Yeah.
were, I guess, 1 degree of separation from each other, which is
Yep.
really cool.
Small
And
world.
then for those of you who are familiar with the Positively Fearless campaign. If you're not, go check it out, positivelyfearless.com. There is a Spanish video that I did, a dub video, and Austin's company is the one that helped me do that. So we've collaborated. I just realized we have collaborated on a lot of stuff together.
We have, yeah. Never enough, though.
Never enough. There are still projects that are pending that we'll get to at some point. So you've been here before, so tell us, Austin Armstrong, tell us how you put it together.
Yeah.
That was a big sigh.
What do you mean by put it together exactly? Where do you want to start here?
Well, I think folks kind of, unless they go back and listen, how did you get to be where you are now? I mean,
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump into your story a bit, because like I know you've like jumped into like TikTok during the lockdown, and you exploded on TikTok. You completely took over. In fact, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do it anymore because Austin. Just kidding. But
I helped you out a little bit on there.
you seem. Let's start with this. You have a golden touch. You have a golden touch for social media stuff. Can we start with that part of your life or career?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll start back. We'll go my first little touch points with social media, kind of up to where I'm currently at, and then if you have any questions along the way, or if any of the live viewers have any questions along the way, I'm happy to clarify and answer anything in as much depth as possible. So I actually got started on social media and social media marketing by accident back on MySpace platform when I was about 14 or 15 years old, something like that, believe it or not. Kind of figured out how to get people to follow me or connect with me at that time. And that started to build. I started to network with other people who were also interested in that, and we were all interested in helping each other and growing each other's followings on MySpace at that time. That really, I got bit by the bug. So way back when, as a 14, 15-year-old, I had like 150,000 connections on MySpace, which was a lot back in the time. And I used to do things like promoting bands and promoting merch and doing a little bit of sketchy lead generation as well that I won't touch too much upon. But it was fascinating because I was making a ton of money at the time, and that opened up a lot of opportunities for me. And I really just never stopped. I'm actually still connected with a lot of those MySpace people, which is cool. And a lot of us have really taken on TikTok, 15, 16 years later. But I just really never stopped. And I think that's been a big part of, what's gotten me to where I am is, I noticed that I had a liking for social media and social media marketing. And I just continued with it. And eventually it led me out to, I moved out to California for family reasons. And I stumbled upon an internship with a company called Therapy Cable, which is how we met. The company that was the production company that worked with Shanti and worked with you on a couple of other projects throughout the years. And that really was one of the best things that ever happened to me, was that internship where I met my boss, who is now my business partner, Dr. Asan Garajadagi. I owe basically all of my success to him because he has been a complete mentor and such an important person in my life. But I started, this isn't the path for everybody. It's the path that worked for me. I don't have a college background. I went a different path. I went the internship route. I started as an unpaid intern. I saw the potential in that. I eventually became a paid intern. I became a part-time employee. Then I became full-time, all within the same company. Then I went to management within that. And again, through Dr. G, he opened up other opportunities with other businesses. So that's what really led me into working in the substance abuse treatment space. My sister's in recovery herself, so I have a personal interest there and connection there. But that led me to, being part-time, full-time, and managing a team of marketing people at a drug and alcohol treatment center, growing Therapy Cable. We eventually, about 2 years, actually 2 years ago in May, so a year and 11 months currently, is when I started my company with Dr. G, my business partner, as a side hustle. It was entirely just a side project, see how we could go with it. My full-time job was with the treatment center that I was the head of digital marketing for. And about a year ago, right in the middle of the pandemic, mind you, I got fired from that job, from that treatment center. And actually, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because when you're faced with that scenario, you have to weigh your options. It was in the, do I want to try and find another job in the middle of the pandemic where people are getting laid off left and right? I don't have a college degree. That's a limiting factor, whether I liked it or not. Or do I go all in on myself, bet on my agency, bet on my ability to grow things? And I did. I bet on myself. I bet on my agency. I went full time. We had about 2 months of income in the bank. So it was literally make or break. I had to make it work. Otherwise, I would have had no income and I would have been in a very bad situation. I decided to go all in on TikTok, and it just worked. Several months into TikTok, the account started to take off, and clients, there started to be interest. I started talking about search engine optimization and other digital marketing strategies. And, people started to resonate with what I was saying in the videos. So they, private messaged me or went to my link in bio, and I started to get clients. And over the last 10 months, the growth has been explosive. We went from a team of 3 people to we have 7 people on our team right now. We have tons of clients that are coming in from not just word of mouth, organic marketing, but a lot are coming from TikTok. And it just it's such a blessing. That's my life professional story in about 5 to 10 minutes.
That's pretty cool. I want to remind everybody watching, this is Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza. My guest today is social media mogul, Mr. Austin Armstrong, talking about his investment in social media and how he's investing in himself. So if you're looking to invest in you, stick around. We'll give you some more tips. It's really interesting. And I brought that up because you and I are pretty similar in the fact that we're like, hey, if I'm going to invest all this time and energy, let it be me. Like, let me invest in me. Because if I'm going to be selling a product, I'm a product. Let me sell my product. How did you come to that realization, or at what point in your life do you say, hey, wait a minute, I'm a brand. I have something to sell. Let me bet all on on me, basically.
Yeah. It really honestly took getting fired. I started that business as a side hustle. And the goal was eventually to be completely independent, financially independent, in control of my own destiny. But it's scary, right? To go full time into something that you don't know if it's going to succeed or not. You have a somewhat comfortable full-time job that pays you pretty well. When do you make that jump? And if I never got fired, it probably would have been a completely different trajectory for me. I probably would not have made that switch as fast. Who knows? I might still be at that company if I did not get fired at that point. So that was really the pivotal moment. I just decided, do I try and get another job and work for somebody else, or do I bet on myself for the first time in my life and go all in and see what I can do? And it opened Pandora's box for the better.
Yeah, and I think that's such a cool way of looking at it, because a lot of times, especially in my line of work in the spiritual coaching arena, where folks come to me, it's like, I got fired, my life is over. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is your life over, or is it about to open some new opportunities?
Yeah.
But before we go into like the highlight of that, you get fired. Is there a moment of like, whoa, what am I going to do now? Was there a moment of panic? And then
Sure.
What was the conversation with yourself to get you out of that space?
I've always had the opinion that every failure or every obstacle is an opportunity to learn and grow from. So, in business and being an entrepreneur, failure is one of the best things that can happen to you, personally, professionally. But it's hard to have that mentality. So yeah, of course, it's scary as hell, right? I don't know if I can curse on it, but it's scary as hell when you get fired and you don't know. So, there was a couple days, I don't know exactly how long it was, where I'm like, what can I do here? And, I was doing some freelance work on platforms like Upwork. And I was making, a decent money doing that too. And I decided, I'm going to lean into this thing. I'm going to try it. And I talked to my business partner and I said, I looked at our finances and I said, there's about a month and a half, 2 months where I can continue to pay myself and pay my bills and live basically the same. Are you okay with me doing this, going on board? Because we make decisions, together as partners. And, he said yes. And that was it. I didn't look back. I looked forward.
Yeah, that's one of the things that for everybody watching, as somebody older, let me give you something now.
25, Daniel.
I'm about to turn 26, and I don't know what to do with my life. Thank you for that. You just got some brownie points. But in my careers, and I had many opportunities from corporate to fast food but you get fired or you get let go, and you're like, well, first of all, I think sometimes we're like, what did I do wrong? And a lot of times you just don't do anything wrong. There's no more work, things happen. And then you add to that we're like in a pandemic situation where nobody's working. So if you get let go, it's like, you can't just go out and get in your car and go hustle for a job.
Right.
And now let me retrace. Were you already in North Carolina when you got fired?
Yeah.
Wow. So you had moved and like a whole new space.
Yep.
Where does because you said I've always had that looking at the half full or the doors, door closed, window open. Where does that come from? Is it something that was nurtured?
Probably as a defense mechanism, to be perfectly honest. Lots of adversity in my life. Single mom, raised 2 angsty children. My sister's in recovery. I have a better relationship now, but I didn't always have the best relationship with my father. And And I think it came as a defense mechanism of, basically forced happiness. My sister went one way and I went the other way. And I guess a lot of that comes from my mom. She is a spiritual person, and she always tries to see the best side of things in life. So it probably comes from that. But yeah, I think it's partially a defense mechanism to, rather than go on the defense, go on the offense.
Yeah, because that's another thing we have kind of in common. My parents were always working. My parents worked a lot, and not feeling supported all of the time, you kind of learn that if you want something, you just got to hustle for it. Like, hence the name of the shirt today. But you like, I never waited for my parents. Like, why don't you ask permission, or why don't you ask for our help? I'm like, you don't have time. Like, you're always busting your butt. Like, I'd rather just go do it. It takes me less time to find a way to do it, get it done, move forward. And here's a quick example. My neighbor, when we were living in Dallas when I was a kid, my neighbor was in construction, and he always had like these big slabs of concrete that he would bring from construction sites where they were like break down stuff. And he always needed help moving them off of his pickup onto his backyard. And he would ask the kids in the neighborhood, it's like, hey, I'll pay you to help me. And I'd be like, I'll do it. Like, I didn't have the muscles. I was too short. And most of the time, I think he did most of the work. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, yeah, I'll spend my time helping you out. And he would give me like $20. I was like, yes, roller skating rink money. Like, I don't have to ask for help.
There you go.
But does that make sense to you? Like, finding your own resources? And in that question, do you remember the first time you like said, hey, I did a job, like that felt good?
Well, I remember early hustles. So in elementary school, we, me and a couple other people, flipped pixie sticks. So we would go we went to the dollar store and we bought a pack of 100 pixie sticks, and we'd take them to school and we sell them for $0.25 each. Wow. So that I guess was the initial stages of, hustling and being a, eventual entrepreneur. Led to, MySpace stuff. And in addition to the MySpace stuff, just, promoting other people's products. I had a friend that was really good with web design early on and coding, a genius. So he would build websites, and I would essentially drive the traffic to those websites. And we had built one website, for instance, that basically fueled what we were doing. So basically it was called like a train, I believe. So you could pay to be on the front of this website and have your MySpace profile added to this list of other profiles that was in like the status update. So I don't know if you remember MySpace, like when you posted something, it was in this like little message board section. So this little message board sections would be like, add these people or open this to win a prize, some BS like that. And by joining that, you would get people to follow you, et cetera, and you would grow your follower account. So I promoted this thing because I had success on this on the back end, and we made a pretty good amount of money promoting that website too. And that led into all the other stuff. Yeah, I had real jobs along the way. I worked at a grocery store. I worked at an Italian deli. I was, worked a bartender and server for, 9 years. I was a floor manager of a yacht club. So I've done a bunch of different stuff throughout. But does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, totally. Because I think, yes, for anybody who's in college, because I started, but I didn't finish college. And, but yet my experiences and my knowledge and wisdom of working different jobs and not learning just, for instance, because I worked like in restaurants and stuff, but not learning just the front of the house stuff, but the back of the house and the office stuff, and knowing how many like for instance, I worked in an Italian restaurant, how much pasta we needed for the day, and then knowing how to do the accounting at the end of the night, but then knowing how to open the restaurant when I needed to. Like, I think that all those things um, helped me along the way to form who I am today. Is there one particular job along the way that you look back on and you go, that's really the foundation of what I do? I mean, other than MySpace, obviously, but which, by the way, I still have my MySpace page. So just I want to
I
say,
do too. I do too.
I want to put it out there. I am still a friend of Tom, so I love Tom. But is
Yeah.
there something that you know that was going to lead to something like this, per se?
Well, I would say my internship at Therapy Cable. That's kind of a fluid transition to where I'm at today. But that was 8 or 9 years ago. Definitely that. I mean, I guess I could say the yacht club as well. I was basically the youngest floor manager there, so I was in charge of scheduling and managing and taking care of all the guests and about a staff of 30 people when I was, I think, 20 or 21, and I was managing a staff of 30 people that are 40, 50 and 60. So I was pretty young overall in a management position, and I realized that I am good in this role. I like managing teams. I love being the person that makes decisions. Much more so than being the person who's told what to do. So I kind of knew early on that I'd eventually be in this position. And let me tell you, the past year, I've never been so happy. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. In addition to getting married to my best friend, I love my life. She's probably on the other side of the door. Having total complete freedom and being in charge of my own destiny. I've never been so happy. So it took a little while. I'm 30 years old now. But I'm still relatively young and still ambitious and have much bigger goals.
Yeah. So before we talk about your goals, because I'm so glad you brought that up, so we're going to talk about that. For everybody watching, this is Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Danny Chigarza, and we're talking to consultant, business owner, entrepreneur, Mr. Austin Armstrong, about setting your goals and how to use your experiences and knowledge to launch yourself. Bet on you. If you are watching us on any of the social pages, please join the conversation. If you're watching this on the replay, you can still join the conversation. Make sure you post, and I routinely come around and check them and make sure that my guests get any questions you might have. Make sure you share with your friends and let them join in viewing. And I know that you are you still live streaming on your TikTok right now?
I am. I'm live streaming on TikTok right now.
All right. Well, hello to all the people out there on TikTok. I missed you, folks. I will be back. For those of you that don't know, I am the Card Devo on TikTok, so check it out. I'm plugging myself right now. Yes, plug me out there. But I'll come back and do card readings again soon, so make sure you follow that. You talk about knowing, like, I know that this what, like, I know where I'm going. Are you a fan of vision boards, manifesting, goal setting? What is your secret, or what is it that you use to put your sight on something?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of guided visualizations, meditation, and have been doing that not as consistently as I'd like, but that's always been a practice of mine for at least 10 years of where I want to go and what I want to do. Really, sitting in that quiet moment and, either listening to a guided visualization on, something like YouTube, or just listening to music, or just being completely silent with myself and envisioning myself with where I want to be, and then reverse engineering how I can get to that point. So that's definitely been a big part of my life and how I've gotten to where I've gotten and where I know that I will eventually get to.
All right. Because for those of you, if you follow Austin on his pages, or you follow me, there's also a video that we did where we did a Reiki session for you.
Yeah.
That for some reason that just got like really popular all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
like 50 or 60,000 views already, maybe more than that.
So again, we'll find all those videos, and for those of you watching, it's like, where can I see that? So wherever you're watching, in the description, I will make sure to include the links so you guys can go check those out. It was really interesting because we did it here in my living room, and we just recorded this Reiki session, which for the most part you don't even see me because I'm working on him, and but people were really like intrigued by it. So I'm glad that people liked it.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your decision making is gut feelings, intuition? How much of it is facts and figures? How do you balance your career choices? Because before I ask you that, because there is a difference when you work for somebody else, you're working under their influence, you're working under their stamping the okay for any decisions. But and I agree on that. When you're working for yourself, and this is why I have my own production company, folks, because I don't like to work for anybody. But you have to like trust in you. But how much is gut feelings and how much is facts and figures?
Yeah, almost too much to a fault on the gut instinct. Yes, I'm very much like I've taken the DISC assessment and psychological tests and whatnot. Yes, I have an opinion of, trust your gut and fail fast. So learn from those failures and apply what you learn from that and stack upon everything. So, a big part of what I do in digital marketing is based on analytics. Of course, I have to pay attention to the analytics and grow upon that. But in personal decisions that I make, I try to, listen to my gut, and this works better for the decisions that I personally make, I've found, rather than relying on other people. I hate to say that, but some examples, I am very quick to hire people, and I can be quick to fire them too, because I believe in people. If they're showing initial passion, maybe they're just good at interviewing or good at bullshitting. But if I vibe with them, I will give them a chance. And it doesn't always work out. Sometimes it's a complete waste of my time and their time. But through hiring fast and firing fast, you do find really incredible people along the way. And I have a fantastic team now, but we're continuing to grow and do amazing things. But yeah, I trust my gut a lot, almost to a fault.
Cool. So I'm going to tap into. Can we talk social media strategies a little bit?
Of course.
Because we can't, and I feel like I can't not talk about how quickly you grew on TikTok. I'm going to that because I remember when you jumped in. I remember when you started posting, and then all of a sudden you just blew up. And for those of you who are watching this, who are avid TikTokers, you're like, how? What? I don't want you to give away all your secrets, but can we share share a little bit?
Yeah. I'll be honest. That's how I grew, is by giving away all the secrets.
Sweet. Okay, so I'm just going to do, because we're halfway point right now. We just passed the halfway point, and so because a lot of folks get on there, and what are 3 things that people do wrong when they get on pages like TikTok?
Not have a clear plan of what they want to get out of the platform and who they want to reach. Not hooking people immediately. The attention span is on social media in general is like 8 seconds. It's like worse than a goldfish, but it's even shorter on TikTok because it's so easy to just swipe up or swipe down to another piece of content. You have to hook them immediately, and not staying consistent. The algorithm rewards consistency. If you're sporadic and not uploading consistent content, you don't know who you're trying to reach, and you're not hooking that audience in, you're not gonna, reach the right people and retain them.
Now, before we move any further, because we start talking, and some people are like, what the heck is the algorithm? How do you eat that? Where do you buy it? How, what side dish does go well with that? Can you explain to them a little bit about the algorithm of things, just like in general?
Yeah, not just on TikTok, but algorithms in general are machine learning that their entire goal is to learn what you like and what you engage with and show you more of that. That's the best way to break it down across, search engines, YouTube, literally any social media platform. Because if you think about the platform's goal, it's to keep you on the platform longer so that it can show you more ads. That's the dark truth of it. So if you play into that, create content that people want to see. That's the simplest thing. When you have your audience in mind, you know exactly who you're trying to reach, what they're interested in. You can filter all of your decisions through that filter and make better educated decisions so that you reach more of the people that you want to reach.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to tell you, folks, when Austin went through my page early on, because I wanted to be, we joined TikTok. Christian and I joined TikTok because we were bored, and we're like, okay, well, let's do something. Let's just do some of these videos and join in the fun. And that's how it really started. And then I started including my card Debo stuff, and I realized that people were really interested in me doing the card readings and putting stuff out there. It does get a little time consuming. So, but then Austin, and I don't know if this is going to help anybody out there watching, but Austin went to my page and said, hey, if you remove some of the stuff, it'll give this stuff more chance to, and it did. It actually did. I was like, wow, like it actually grew. So for anybody who's out there looking at Austin going, I want to hire him, but I wonder, yes, just simple little details that he gave me, just little pointers, helped out a lot. And definitely the niche part, finding your niche. Now, can a person, staying on the negative side of it, can a person do too many of the same video and just people get bored with it? Like how many times, okay, I'm not going to knock it, but how many times can you see Mr. Blue Eyes, no shirt on, showing his muscles? By the way, if you're Mr. Blue Eyes showing your muscles, keep doing it. No harm there. Yeah, but can a person actually do too many of the same thing where people get bored and don't want to follow you anymore?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're literally uploading the same video every single day constantly, then yes. However, you can't assume that everybody that saw your last video are going to see your most recent video, and vice versa. You can't assume that everybody that sees your most recent video saw your last video, because that's just not the case. So, you can, communicate that information in a slightly different way, which maybe resonates with that person in a different way, and they get that aha moment. I would mix it up a little bit. If you have, there's easily 100 topics that any given person could talk about. And if you narrow that, the 100, ask yourself, write it down, 100 of the most frequently asked questions that you get about the subject matter that you're trying to communicate. Take the time, write that down. How many different ways can you communicate each one of those 100 topics? And essentially, you're creating an infinite content strategy.
Cool. All right. So now on the flip side of the coin, what are 3 things that anybody on TikTok, let's stick with TikTok, anybody on TikTok should do to increase their viewership or their?
Yeah, I'm gonna basically say the 3, the opposite of the 3 negatives, right? Know exactly who you want to reach. So develop a buyer persona. You can do a Google search or a YouTube search or anything like that for a buyer persona template. I would highly recommend everybody that's interested in growing anywhere online or reaching more people to fill out and outline a buyer persona. Second is hooking people. Opening your video with an intriguing element or an initial value statement, something that's going to keep the viewer watching for more. And third, stay consistent. I've up until, I took a little bit of a break, because of getting married and going on a mini honeymoon. But basically I was uploading 3 to 5 videos a day for like 9 months straight. And I don't think I missed a single day, which sounds like a lot of content. And it's not necessary to match that. We've had a lot of success and grow a lot of other channels with uploading 1 video every single day. But I would, have that be the bare minimum of upload once every single day.
Wow, that is time consuming. I'm going to say, because it does get. So how long on average does it take you to record to where you like that 1 minute video?
Probably 5 minutes or less. And that's just because, I'm a student of digital marketing. I'm always learning different things and I'm always testing different things. So I can literally just like word vomit strategies that I'm either, have experience with or I'm currently testing. And it seems to resonate pretty well with people. I will give a tip. So if most people, it will take a little bit longer. My content is not even the highest quality. I literally like have the selfie camera up and then I'll flip the camera and I'll show an example of a website or whatever I'm talking about on my computer screen. And then maybe I flip it back around and, have a closing call to action on my phone. That's really not that high quality, but it got me to about 140,000 followers on TikTok. You can, do way higher quality content, shoot it on a camera, shoot it on a GoPro, shoot it on your phone, edit it, work in transitions and stuff like that. Naturally, it's going to take more time. A tip for that is to batch your content. Spend a day a month, take a Saturday or take whenever you have free time, knock out as many videos as you can, and then release them, publish them over the period of time. So if you're only able to record 7 videos, once a week, take a Saturday, take a couple hours on Saturday, record all these videos, edit them, whatever, and then release 1 a day, and then make that Saturday or whenever you have free time your scheduling day. Everybody has different, schedules. People have kids, people have jobs, people have side hustles, people have all this stuff going on. Work around your schedule. Wake up a little bit earlier, stay up a little bit later, make it work for you.
I will tell you folks that from running my own production and doing my own social media stuff, and this is like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, like doing all this stuff, posting all it is a job, and you have, I think, not to jump over your tips, but my only tip when people ask me about how do you keep it, I'm like, it's my job. I have taken on I am the owner of my company, and I don't have people that I can delegate to do my job. So Monday mornings when I do my horoscopes, if you're not following me on horoscopes, make sure you do. But Monday mornings when I do my horoscopes, and I feel like I have an audience that expects them on Monday morning, like they're looking for them. But you have to take the time to wake up early while I'm having my coffee, do the 1 minute video, doing my horoscopes. And mind you, people would think that a minute video for 12 horoscopes would be easy. But if y'all could see the outtakes on those are pretty cool, which is the whole video on itself. But I guess I'm just agreeing with you. It's if you really want to make social media part of your career, or a division of your company, you have to invest in it just like you would anything else, and it takes time. But like I say, people come to expect it. People come like not in a negative expectation, but like, oh, I know that Mondays Cardivo has horoscopes for me, and people will comment on them. It's just like people know that today, Saturday, is the 2 shows. Cardivo shows on Fridays. By the way, Cardivo Pro is Friday night, 6 o'clock. But you come to expect all this stuff, and then people know what to look for you. But I see in your interactions, people just like flock to want to get your information, and that's pretty cool. Where does the concept, because I'm a big believer in that, where does your concept of let me give you the information and for free, and I trust that somebody's going to come back for more. How did you land on that, and how does that work for you?
Gary Vaynerchuk. I've basically modeled my career after Gary Vaynerchuk, if I'm being perfectly honest and transparent. His book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, is all about value, 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 ask. Put it all out there. Give your best tips away for free. Give everything away for free. Because guess what? People are lazy. People are not going to have the time. And, that ties into the know, like, and trust factor of marketing. When people know you, when they like you, and they trust you, they will buy from you. That's plain and simple. So you earn that by continuing to show up time and time again, continually providing value that resonates with them. Some of them, they're going to take those tips and they're going to run, but other people are going to trust you and they're going to reach out to you. You're breaking down their barriers over time by providing consistent content, consistent value, and more people will reach out to you and buy from you, whatever that is.
Yeah. So we're going to put that book up on the link, so make sure that you check it out. My book suggestion, and I've never given a book suggestion, but my book suggestion is The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. Mm-hmm. That is one of the first books I read when I moved to California and wanted to take control of my career. I bought that book, a recommendation from somebody, and it completely changed the way I branded myself. It gave me peace of mind in knowing, okay, this isn't working right now. Let me channel my energy over here for a little bit and work on that, and I'll come back to it later. Which is, for instance, during the lockdowns, acting and stand-up comedy were not booking anything. So I'm like, where can I go with my energy? Oh, let's go to do some live stream shows and see what that. And that's just how things popped up. So two books for you guys to read. So Jab, 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 Right Hook, and The Tipping Point. 2 books for you folks to go find them, read them, and then put it into practice. I think, so usually, and you're giving a bunch of words of wisdom, but this is usually the point where we share some words of wisdom with our folks. So what words of wisdom would you like to share with us, Mr. Armstrong?
Fail fast and learn from the failures. I got lots of little, quotes like that, but that's a good one. We'll go with that.
You've got good T-shirts, words of wisdom. Those are really good, like little pieces, nuggets that just go good on a T-shirt. Like, there you go. But you're completely right. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I did something that bombed, I wouldn't have to be sitting here working, folks.
Part of the journey.
Biggest mistake, and how did you bounce off of it?
Biggest mistake.
And we're saying mistake in quotes because you and I know that we learn from everything. But
I'll say pretty early on in my career with Therapy Cable, I had the opportunity to record an interview with some Oscar nominated people for short film, and they actually ended up winning the Oscar for best live action short film that year. I totally botched that recording. I only brought one camera and I brought one battery because I was so early on it. And oh my gosh, it was a tragedy. The battery died. I didn't get good camera angles. The audio wasn't good. Basically, the entire day was a wash, just a complete waste of everybody's time, and it's entirely my fault. I learned a lot from that. I learned to always bring backup equipment, invest in more equipment, and prepare better. That was a very embarrassing moment, and it's a life lesson that I'll never forget. It's kind of my go-to answer for that.
Yes, as fellow interviewers,
it's a bad one. Yeah.
As fellow interviewers, I can totally relate to that. Like, it's nothing worse than having your little selfie stick trying to capture people's live reactions, and then your phone dies. You're like, oh man, so now that we're sharing this, one of my worst things, this is when I used to do my podcast calling people on my phone, and if I didn't plug in my earbuds correctly, it wouldn't record. You had to like have it, the system that I was using,
Hmm.
especially if you were making a phone call, it required you to plug in your earbuds, and that way it would like basically turn on the system.
Hmm.
I had this really cool interview with this director from Italy. So he had woken up in the middle of the night to sit with me and record. We did the whole hour of the podcast. I could hear him and he could hear me, but the system, but the earbuds weren't plugged in all the way in. So it never recorded his side of the
Ooh.
conversation. Yes. And there is no saving from that. It took me 5 years to get him back on the show.
Ah.
So if you guys are watching this, you can go back on. You have to go back and look for them. Look for it, and you'll know who I'm talking about. When you see the Italian guy, that's him. But he wasn't mad. It just took me 5 years to be able to get him back on the show. And but yes, so yeah. But you learn from those. You learn T's. Dot your I's, cross your T's, watch your P's and Q's. I say that all the time to myself. Like, make sure that you're doing it. I feel like if you're watching this and you're like, I'm taking my career in my own hands, don't half-ass, because it's your brand. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%. If you're investing yourself, you're going all in on yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Don't be lazy with yourself. You're only letting yourself down.
It's even gotten to the point, and I will confess to this because I did it once, and I was so embarrassed. Now that I do live streams and everything's done this way, I don't like wearing shorts when I'm interviewing. For me, I wear the t-shirts because I wear a different t-shirt every episode. I want people to see all and I actually have about 250 t-shirts, folks, so just so you know. But if you have a t-shirt, you want to send me a t-shirt, please do so. But I try to wear a different t-shirt every episode. But I wear pants. I always wear pants. I feel like I'm dressing up as if I'm going into your space, into your house to interview you. So one interview, I didn't wear pants. I wore shorts. And then I forgot something and I had to get up to get
Yeah.
it. And I was so embarrassed because I was wearing these like not sexy looking shorts. They were not good to look for. And I was like, oh man, like what do you do? Like, so yes, always if you're really gonna invest in yourself, just do it all the way and then don't cheat yourself. We're down to like the last 8 minutes. Anything else before we go?
No, you had briefly alluded to, what goals are, what the future
yes.
goals are, if we wanted to talk about that. Yeah,
go for it.
Okay. One of my dreams and goals has always to be a paid public speaker. So that's I'm leveraging TikTok, leverage your strength and leverage your opportunities to open these opportunities. So during this past year, because of the growth of TikTok, and I had done, public speaking and I've done tons of podcasts and stuff, and I'm not shy in front of the camera. I'm leveraging TikTok as an opportunity to speak at conferences. So I'm speaking at Video Marketing World in October, which is my, a huge opportunity and is a life goal and a life dream of mine because I was at the last one in the audience, learning from all of those speakers on the stage. Last year's got canceled because of COVID. This is the first one back, and now I'm on that stage because of the lessons that I learned in that, and it's all coming full circle. So that's really one of my life goals is to, speak and educate and share, what I've learned and tested and failed with people. That's where I want to go. So that's one of my big goals, and just, growing my agency as large as I can. And really empowering all of my employees as well, because I'm growing a team of rock stars, absolute hustlers. So I'm empowering all of them to be their best selves and, apply everything that we learn and test with clients on themselves. So I'm encouraging them to have their own side hustles as well. And just living my best life, man, just seeing how far I can take this thing and how hard and how fast I can hustle.
I think you just said something that of all the years that I've manage, because even in my promotion and marketing company, um, when they ask me what do you think makes you a good leader, and I most always say, is empowering my team to
Mhm.
be leaders. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want you to depend on me all the time. I want you to be able to do your thing.
Mhm.
Um, like, if I'm not here, I want you to be able to take the initiative and know how to run my company the way that I would do it.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, man, because I mean,
Thank you.
you,
Very
you're,
important.
yeah, I feel like you're not a winner if you don't create winners.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm such a big advocate for that. I think that's so important as well. I'm glad you're on the same, team there. Like, the opportunity that I was given in my life, from being a paid intern to being my boss's business partner, and growing a thriving, profitable business. I'm now in that opportunity. He invested so much time, money, and effort, and training into me. I don't take that lightly. I'm now in the position that I can pay that forward, and I can invest in my team, people that are learning and growing alongside me as well. So I invest in them because we grow bigger and better together.
Yeah. And for anybody out there who believes in energy, you know that the energy you put out, it will make its way back to you. So just like you were empowered, now it's your turn to empower other people.
Yeah.
Even in my spiritual coaching, it's not about telling people what to do. It's about empowering them to take charge of their lives. I want you to be spiritually connected enough that you don't need me anymore. That you can go off and do whatever you need. So kudos to you, man. That's why you're so successful. That's why, man. I miss you out here. I love you. You're such an amazing dude, and I'm so proud of you
Likewise.
of all the work that you do. You're so cool.
To you.
We are down to the end of our show, folks. Austin, don't go away. I'll come back and get you in just a second. But thank you so much for being on the show. You're awesome. Hello to all your TikTok followers. Thank you for sticking around and watching us. I'll be back for you in just a second, Austin. For everybody watching, we this is Put Together Conversations. Remember, we are here every Saturday at noon and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. To make sure you check us out, different guests every hour, and every once in a while we'll sneak in a 2 o'clock show. So keep your eyes open. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So make sure that you check us out on any of those channels. Like us, subscribe to the channels. Make sure you comment. Even if you're watching this on replay, I will make sure to check in and get your questions answered. If you are a fan of Little Mexican Productions, remember, we're here every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. with the Christian and Daniel Show. On Fridays, it's the Card Devo at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure that you set your alarms and join us for all of these shows. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank my guest, Austin, for being here on the show. We'll be back next week with more information, more guests. So make sure that you stay tuned for all that. For now, I am Daniel G. Garza saying, hey, put it together.